history's embrace. Captain's quarters sets the pace with Captain Mayhem at the helm. A voyage of knowledge, a story to round. Captain's quarters weekly delight, where history's treasures take flight. Led by Mayhem, Longwood, and Joe, they explore the past, row by row. Navigator Longwood charts the course, guiding listeners to knowledge's source. Cartographer Joe with maps in hand, unveil.
Oh, God, that's ugly. I was playing with the lights. Oh, we'll cut that back quickly. My goodness, that was terrible. Wow, welcome to the Captain's Quarters podcast. There's one of those times, Davey, you should punch up. Now we know why the rum is going. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Captain's Quarters podcast. This is episode 179 and March 30th, 2025. And how do we find this, Davey?
Come on there.
There it is, right there. Use that QR code. Go to YouTube, Captain's Quarters Podcast. That way you can catch us every week, 8 p.m. And if you can't catch us, well, we download to several platforms. We'll tell you all about it. Use that QR code to like us, follow us, and subscribe to us. There's the other word. We'd love to have you be a part of the Captain's Quarters Podcast crew. And tune in every Monday night, or as often as you can, because we do like having you around. We love having a good audience to talk to at the same time. And this would be a good time to actually brag. We just got notice today. The Captain's Quarters podcast has earned, ladies and gentlemen, its first $100. Woo!
Yay!
I'm not sure what we're going to do with that $100 yet, but we've earned $100. And all we have to do now is figure out how to download it from their account to our account. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're very new at all of this, and we have fun with it anyway. But hey, I'm quite proud. What it means, ladies and gentlemen, is they're putting TV commercials in our shows. So if you watch them on your boob tube or your boob screen or whatever other screens you want to call them, if you watch them, well, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? They put TV commercials in there now. So we're having advertising. Come on, Bill. My fingers are so weak nowadays. There we go. All right. So I'm going to light my candle. The drinking candle is lit, and we're ready to proceed with a good show. I bet Mini Mayhem is anxious to give us a joke this week because he got to see some of the girls over the weekend, didn't he?
Oh, yes, he did. He enjoyed that.
Yes, and you know what? Every time I keep forgetting to bring him up on stage so we can put him in some of the other shows. But for now, let's see what Mini Mayhem has to show us.
Hi, mates. Mini Mayhem here with the joke of the week. Sponsored by our good friend Trappist Rummy of Salt City Comics. What part of a pirate runs but never walks? Think about it, and I'll give you the answer at the end of the show.
Very good. Now we'll have to see what happens at the end of the show, right? Who knows? I am writing me a note real quick. There we go. I probably just misspelled a whole bunch of people there, but I'm trying to learn how to do more than one thing at the same time and running the show. Well, I'm not running the show. Davey's running the show. I'm trying to learn it so I can do some things also. All right, let's see. It's time for This Week in Nautical History. And Ancient City Sirens sponsor This Week in Nautical History. So, and we're working on, we probably have some really good stuff now. We're working on a really good video for them. So, on that note, if you want good dancing, Ancient City Sirens, our friends, Miss Gina and the girls, do us away there. Davey, This Week in Nautical History.
We begin This Week in Nautical History on March 31st, 1958. U.S. Navy forms Atomic Submarine Division. April 1st, 1945. Battle of Okinawa. U.S. ground forces invade Okinawa during World War II in the largest amphibious assault of the Pacific Theater. April 2nd, 1513. Explorer Juan Ponce de Leon claims Florida for Spain as the first known European to reach Florida. April 3rd, 2020. 27 people swept off a ferry and feared dead in the Solomon Islands during a Cyclone Harold. April 4th, 1581. Francis Drake knighted by Queen Elizabeth I aboard his galleon Golden Hind at Deptford, England. April 5th, 1943. Chinese steward Poon Lim is found off the coast of Brazil by a Brazilian fisherman family after being adrift for 133 days after British ship SS Benelamond was torpedoed by a German U-boat. And finally, April 6, 1909, North Pole almost reached by American explorers Robert Peary and Matthew Henson. Navigational errors discovered decades later in the travelogue likely placed the expedition a few miles short. And that was this week in nautical history.
Very good. And the one for April 2nd in Juan Ponce de Leon, that affects us right here in good old St. Augustine. So tomorrow is the anniversary of the 1513 landing of Juan Ponce de Leon. Something to be talking about all along this week. So, quote of the week by Spyglass Travel, ladies and gentlemen. You want a good walking tour of St. Augustine? Why, quote of the week is sponsored by our good friends at Spyglass Travel. They do not only a great walking tour, but a good cardio workout because it's an hour-long walk along the streets of old St. Augustine. So, Davey, what do we have for this week? Quote of the week. Some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I thought you would, Captain.
I like that one a lot. Yes. I actually think that might have slipped in for this past weekend. Very good. And Oscar Wilde is one to be quoted for sure. Love it. All right. So we always do 8 bells. Now, you may have noticed we moved 8 bells from the front of the show into the middle of the show. I believe there's probably quite a few, but we're trying to keep it down. 8 Bells is sponsored by our good friends at Marco's Pizza. You want a great pizza? I still have 2 pieces of pizza in the refrigerator. I haven't eaten from about 3 nights ago. I might have to eat them tonight. But they do make a grand pizza, ladies and gentlemen. They make a great garden pizza, no meat whatsoever, all vegetables. And then they make a really wonderful meat pizza. And both have great sauces. I think that's the sauce is the secret for good pizza. Anyway, go ahead, Davey.
All right. Well, we just have 4.
Okay.
You might be surprised that this one. Everybody should know the first one.
The first one is Richard Chamberlain. Yep, absolutely. An American actor, singer who became a teen idol in the title role of the television show Dr. Kildare. He subsequently earned the title King of the Miniseries for his work in several TV miniseries such as Centennial, Shogun, and Thornbirds. Chamberlain also performed classical stage roles and worked in musical theater. In 2023, inducted into the Online Film and Television Association Awards in the Television Hall of Fame. He was 90 years old. Hyman Eisman was an American cartoonist. He entered the comic strip field in 1950 and worked on several strips, including Carrie Drake, Little Iodine, and Bunny. In comic books, he was the last artist doing Little Lulu before it was canceled in 1984. From 1994 until 2022, he wrote and drew the Sunday strips for Popeye. Eisman also won the 1975 National Cartoonist Society's Award for Best Humor comic book cartoonist. In 1983, he received a National Cartoonist Society Award for his work on the Little Lulu comic book. He was 98 years old. And Terry Manning, an American recording engineer and record producer, musician, and photographer. In a career spanning more than 50 years, he worked with Led Zeppelin, Iron Maiden, Bryan Adams, ZZ Top, The Tragically Hip, Zeno, Booker T and the MGs, Shakira, Isaac Hayes, Otis Redding, Rhino Bucket, Johnny Winter, The Fabulous Thunderbirds, Big Star, Johnny Taylor, Jason and the Scorchers, the Staple Singers, Molly Hatchet, George Thorogood, Al Green, Widespread Panic, Shania Twain, Joe Cocker, Joe Walsh, Lenny Kravitz, among others. I think that's a good list right there. He was 77 years old, ladies and gentlemen. And Richard Norton, an Australian martial artist, actor, stunt performer, stunt coordinator, security consultant, and fight choreographer. His first movie screen appearance was in the 1980 Chuck Norris film, The Octagon, and he worked on over 80 feature films and television programs. He appeared in a number of martial arts films and worked as a fight choreographer for titles like The Condemned, Mad Max, Fury Road. Norton entered the entertainment industry as a personal bodyguard for the Rolling Stones, Linda Ronstadt, James Taylor, David Bowie, ABBA, John Belushi, Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks. He was 75 years old, and I actually believe I met him.
Ooh.
Because I had backstage passes to meet Linda Ronstadt in Las Vegas, and I had to deal with their security first, but it was a special invite, so I was allowed on. Very cool. Very cool. Good ones, Davey. Good ones. You may have noticed that we've cut it down to only 4 every week, so we try to pick some of the best. Let's see who's on now. I see Gene is on. I see Kara Kramer is on. I see, is Will the Historian on?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And Black Sails Adventure is on. Always trying to make sure we say hello to everybody that we can. Very good. Thank you all very much for being on the show. So let's see. We would normally do This Week in History.
Oh, we got the ship's bells.
Oh, duh. Hey, you need to stop popping those things up, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, we've read them off on the floor there. So let's do them honor, even though I messed it all up. Let's do them honor and play 8 bells for each and every one. Now, you may be noticing I'm drinking juice tonight. In fact, I'm starting a healthy, better 30 days of eating and drinking. So we'll see what happens. So, This Week in History. Let's do that, Davey. This Week in History is sponsored by our good friends at Dick's Wings, and we have a commercial for them. Go ahead. Where does the captain take his hungry crew for a good lunch special? Why, Dick's Wings. Daily lunch specials even a pirate could afford. Why, look, a table filled with flavors and tastes for even the most discriminating of pirates. A great lunch and a great time is always had by all at Dick's Wings, St. Augustine, Florida, US 1 South.
We begin This Week in History on March 31st, 1889. Eiffel Tower officially opens for dignitaries in an award ceremony in Paris, France. Designed by Gustave Eiffel and built for the Exposition Universelle at 300 meters high, it holds the record for the tallest man-made structure for 41 years. April 1st, 1934, Clyde Barrow kills 2 young highway patrolmen, H.D. Murphy and Edward Bryant Wheeler, at the intersection of Route 114 near Grapevine, Texas. Barney Parker's role in the murders helps turn public perception against the gang for good. April 2nd, 1877. First human cannonball act performed by 14-year-old Rosa Matilda Riker, known as Zazzle, at the Royal Aquarium in London. April 3rd, 1953. American Magazine TV Guide publishes first issue. Cover features photo of Lucille Ball's newborn baby boy, Desiderio Alberto Arnaz IV, later professionally known as Desi Arnaz Jr. April 4th, 1968. U.S. civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. is assassinated by James Earl Ray at the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee. April 5th, 1962, NASA's Neil Armstrong pilots the X-15 to the height of 54,600 meters. And finally, April 6th, 1987, middleweight World Boxing Championship bout, Sugar Ray Leonard upsets Marvelous Marvin Hagler at Caesars Palace in Paradise, Nevada. And that was This Week in History.
Ah, very good, Davey. Very good. A few of those I recall even now. I like that. 14 years old doing cannonball stuff. Mind blowing. Yes, Black Sails Adventure. That was interesting for sure. A shot across the bow. I'm going to just brag about two things for the shot across the bow this week. The first one is a pin. Davey, you got a picture of that pin, right?
I do.
I popped that up there real quick. So yesterday, the president of the local Lions Club and Dominic Mercurio, who has been my contact for our involvement with the Seafood Festival, they came over and presented me with one of their 75th anniversary pins with the Bridge of Lions on it. And for 15 years of being with the Seafood Festival. So I have a new pin to put on my hat. And historically, I started 15 years ago with them, and they had just hired me for the first 2 years. And then the third year, I talked them into allowing us to bring in the crew and the ship and dancers. And we just had a great time. We have great memories. I think maybe we're going to have to do one whole episode on the Seafood past shows. There was one year the Seafood Festival was so cold, we were standing around in a huddle with coats and blankets covering us all because it was just so cold that day. But I'm very proud to have had this given to me, but I accept it not just for me, but for the crew of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. It's always nice to be recognized for doing things that we do. So in the name of the Swashbucklers and as the captain of the Swashbucklers, we say, yes, we're proud to accept this. And we're also proud to continue on for many, many more years, as long as they will have us pirates. Something else I wanted to brag about, and I'm going to do this one, Davey. Let me see here, media asset. So we have somebody that watches our show. They may be watching tonight. If they're not, they'll catch it later on. And this young man has a daughter, and they live up in Jacksonville, and she's come to the Pirate Museum. She's come to St. Augustine. She's dressed as a pirate. Her dad dresses as a pirate. And thank you, Nightingale. I appreciate that. But I just got a notice from the dad that his daughter had been given a project to do. I guess the whole class had been given a project to do to create tourist brochures of things in Florida. They were not allowed to do anything in Jacksonville. They had to reach out and do something for something else outside of Duval County. So Lydia Wasco did this, and let's see if I can find it. Here it is here. She created a brochure. Look at this. Now I'm going to show you this first page first. Great pictures, a whole lot of fun. St. Augustine has a beautiful lighthouse that has been there for many years. It was built in 1871. All right, we won't say anything about anything, okay, please? If you are looking for a place to see history, why not stop in St. Augustine? They have the Fountain of Youth, where Ponce de Leon discovered the mystical fountain. They also have the Castillo de San Marcos, the oldest masonry fort, founded in 1565. She did really good here. I just think it's really the most important thing for anybody, because I know there'll be a few people that might send me a message here in a few minutes. Having children involved in history and having their parents involved in it with them is the most important thing. And this was the second page of her brochure. The history in St. Augustine is truly one of a kind, from an old jail to beautiful beaches. I mean, she did a really good job. She picked out great pictures. But look down here in this. This is what I like. I was flattered. St. Augustine is just a hop, skip away on I-95 and take exit 318 and follow the signs and let the history start. That's a pretty good opening. St. Augustine also has a hidden gem, which very little know about. A pirate museum and pirate tour guide, Captain Mayhem, aka Mr. McCrae. I'm flattered. She included me in her school project. For all of you that are pirates, these are the kind of things that make it worth our while. Being included in something like this. This is very important to me. And I wanted to share it on the air and let everybody know. And a special thank you to Lydia Wasco. Sometimes there's not enough right words. I just think it's wonderful when children do this kind of a thing. So there it is. Let me go ahead and remove it now from the screen. There we go. And any children that want to do stuff, if you have children that are doing stuff that has anything to do with history in Florida and whatever else, please send it along. We used to do a mail call segment where I read mail from people that sent us mail, but we haven't gotten any mail in a while, so we haven't been doing it. But we may have to bring that segment up, or at least create that segment so we have something. So thank you, Lydia. I'm honored and flattered that you included me in your school project. I cheers with some blueberry juice just to you. Aye. And on that note, on the horizon, the crew has a big break right now. We just finished the seafood festival, which we're going to talk about, but the crew has a pretty good break. April, May, June, July, and August. We kind of have a break, take a breather. I do happen to know and understand that with doing so much work in the month of March, the crew all needs a breather away from each other also. So we're taking a breather, but Davey and I will be working on some other projects. We plan on using April, May, and June to work on. We've got some ideas for a pirate movie. Mostly it'll be tongue-in-cheek and making fun of pirates. But we also are wanting to come up with some other ways to tighten up our show here and make our show more fun, more interactive. And as Mandy made a comment 2 days ago when I said, hey, what can we do to improve the show? She said, get some guests. And you're right, we need to bring some guests back in. So we'll have plenty of time now to relax, sit back, and work on new projects. I am going to be working on a project for Talk Like a Pirate Day. That project will be on September 20th, which is a Saturday. It is the day after Talk Like a Pirate Day. So we're going to do something on that Saturday. I used to do a pirate treasure hunt down St. George Street for children. It is a children's only event, and I'm reviving it. We haven't done it since before COVID. It's time to bring that back and celebrate Talk Like a Pirate Day in fine style. So be watching for that project also. If you have ideas, you have thoughts about what we should do, let us know. We're open to putting anything in here, aren't we, Davey?
Aye.
I mean, send us an email. Let us know. If you have some ideas on some people that would like to be guests on the show, let us know. We're revamping our membership and our Patreon so that certain memberships will have access to all of the guest segments that we have. But more on that probably next week. On that note, since we don't have a guest, we thought we'd talk about the Seafood Festival. Oh, crew yard sale. Good idea. Smaller events. We do have a crew yard sale coming up the last weekend of this month. If any of you are looking for pirate gear, that Friday and Saturday, I'm sure there will be pirate gear. I have some of the crew that make leather and clothing, so we'll probably have some things out there. And the crew may be at the Sharks event on Sunday, a week from last night, this Sunday coming up. Now, I say maybe because the original timing of it all has been changed over the last 15, 20 hours, and I have to make sure that the crew is still on board. So we'll see what happens with that. I think that's about it for now. And after that garage sale or the yard sale, the crew will be having a social on that Saturday night. I think after being apart, most of us being apart for about 30 days, it'll be good to get back together and make sure everybody's doing well. So let's talk about the Seafood Festival. Davey, I'm going to do the first one here real quick. You ready?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to send out a special thank you, one to the St. Augustine Lions Club and the Seafood Festival for allowing us to be such a big part. And I mean, this year we were a big part of the festival. We had 4 tents set up. So we had everything we could. The entertainment tent was great. We did stories, sword fighting. We had a whole good time. But we'd like to thank the two major sponsors of the St. Augustine Seafood Festival, Sprouts Farmers Market. Now, there is a Sprouts in Jacksonville, and we talked to them, and they plan on putting a Sprouts in St. Augustine, probably not until 2026. So we want to make sure that we talk about them, and I'm going to make a plan to run up to Jacksonville location and see how they do. And also BJ's Wholesale Grocery Store, I could be wrong that it's just groceries, but BJ's. There's one in Palm Coast, and they were a major sponsor too. So the St. Augustine Swashbucklers and Captain's Quarters podcast give you a huge thank you to the St. Augustine Seafood and Lions Club. Why can't I speak tonight? The St. Augustine Lions Club Seafood Festival and Sprouts Farmers Market and BJ's Wholesale. And I'm going to do it one more time. That way, if anybody needs to cut the clip out, they get it right. 3, 2, 1. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers and Captain's Quarters podcast would like to give a huge thank you to the St. Augustine Lions Club and allowing us to be a part of the Seafood Festival for the 15th year. And we'd love to say thank you to the major sponsors of this event, Sprouts Farmers Market and BJ's Wholesale. If you ever need anything in those lines, please check and be a part of their audience also. We thank each and every one of them. On that note, David, do you have a video or do you want to show pictures? Because I got a couple of pictures, but
I got the video. I can just
do the video first.
All right.
everybody can see it was a good time had by all. During the first show of the Ancient City Sirens, I got to see them from up above, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And we got some really good pictures. These pictures here, these next couple of pictures are courtesy of John Miriam. And let me make sure I get his thing right here. Miriam Multimedia. He is a photographer here in St. Augustine, and he takes some wonderful pictures. And here is my vantage point. Up high above everyone, I could see the entire festival. And of course, sporting a drink there, it was a mango rum drink. They make a pretty good one. And then we got the girls all up there to join us and take a picture. And in case you want to see what it actually looks like, they were up in the air. The bottom area is their bar, and this is their third year being here, second year bringing this contraption they bring, and they were a lot of fun. They worked with us, we worked with them, and we had a great time. So there you have it. And there's a good picture. Davey thought this was a great picture of the Seafood Festival from the top of that bar looking down. It's pretty crowded, and if you look over here to the right, those are all people waiting in line at all the different seafood places. Mm-hmm. The average wait was quite long. But the one place that I didn't have to wait was a barbecue place, which is not seafood, but they had some pretty good barbecue. So there you go. And did we show? We did show this, didn't we? Yes, we did. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know why I'm not thinking straight. Maybe I just haven't had enough sleep. It was a long weekend for most of our crew. We spent Thursday and Friday setting up in the evening. That was a good 3 to 4 hours each one of those 2 nights. It was a long day on Saturday that started for many of us right around 9 o'clock in the morning. And Miss Kara and myself, we made it home by 11:15 that night. Sunday was not such a great day. We were all wet, and it rained through most of the day, and we ended up shutting down but about an hour and a half early, but we were home by 6:30, 7 o'clock. I just see it. Did you put this one up here, Davey?
Yeah. Minnie was having a good time when they were dancing to the pirate song.
Of course, Minnie was watching that. Right. Yeah, that little puppet, and I'll leave it at that. It was a good time. The Lions Club raises a lot of money. The crew makes money off of this event, and it was just a wonderful time. And as I said, 15 years, it's been a lot of fun. We have a good record and a good relationship with the Lions Club for the Seafood Festival, and a good relationship with Romanza and the Celtic Festival people. 15 years with them also. So it's always good to have clients that like to have you come back. So let's see. Davey, you want to do the joke of the week?
Yes.
Okay, it's time for the answer to the joke of the week. What part of a pirate runs but never walks? The answer is his nose. I see Mandy Joe's nose is running from laughing so hard.
I laughed so hard, rum came out of my nose. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached that point in time where we say thank you to everybody and slowly fade off away from Doc and on to the next adventure. Our shows are shorter now because, well, sometimes they might have been exciting for us, but maybe not as exciting for you. So we're at that point in the show that our guest would be on right about now, and then we'll let you know how things are going to go. So we're looking at, now that we've made our first $100 off of YouTube, we're cooking with gas and on the front burners, I'll tell you. So it's a lot of fun. This is our 179th episode. And Talk Like a Pirate Day, let's see, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. Either episode 15 or episode 22 will be our next anniversary show, which will put us over the 200 mark. So Mandy, we have not heard from Mandy, so we're going to have to do some welfare checks to make sure she's doing all right. I know she had a busy probably as busy a weekend as we did. But for now, Davey, what thank you videos do we have?
The Captain's Quarters podcast is always searching the world for history, knowledge, and adventure. It takes a crew to run a podcast, so we take this opportunity to thank those who help keep this podcast going. The crew: Captain William Mayhem, Navigator Davey Longwood, Cartographer Mandy Joe. Our charities we support: Alias Acres, Humane Society, Inc. The 3 major charities we support, but always room for more. You too could be part of the show and support the show in many ways. Go to Patreon. For a small monthly contribution, become a Powder Monkey or First Mate sponsor. Go to YouTube and hit the like and subscribe buttons to join our ranks and support the show. It does take a crew. Thank you.
Very good, Davey. And there is our formats, ladies and gentlemen. After YouTube closes us down every night and shuts us off, you can find us being loaded on Spotify, Instagram, Twitch, and Facebook. If you just want to listen to us and not see my ugly mug up here, I'm okay with that. Go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you can listen to iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Twitter, Stitcher, and CastBox. And we can't show our numbers because Mandy was not able to do anything. Do we have an idea of our numbers, or are we good for now?
We're doing well, and obviously our format, I believe our format, new format, shortening the time must be doing well, because this is the first time since we have been doing the podcast during these years that we've actually hit. Now we've hit that magic mark where you're with YouTube, where you're allowed to, you have to get over the 100, and so that seemed to happen as soon as we started tightening up and shortening our program, if you noticed.
Well, I think that's a good portion of it. We have some ideas on things we want to do in the show, little bits and pieces. Where are those at, Davey? Are they anywhere in here? I'm looking now just so we can show off. Where are the little, oh, there they are, like that. If I'm not doing something right, Davey's supposed to hit me in the head, or we can, yeah, I'll always drink to that. Captain's losing it. Yeah, that's what Mandy's for, to keep us in line, right, Davey?
That's right.
Now you know why the rum is always gone. So little things like that. We've got sound effects that we're working on also. Yep, there's that one right there.
I like that one.
Yeah, that, and I can tell you that after this past weekend in my boots all weekend, that one's true. But we have sound effects also. Love the background. Thank you very much. The background is really great. Davey, you got any of those sound effects handy real quick just to pop them in?
Oh, yeah.
Pop it. Oh, that's a good one. We're going to be shooting people off the bow here shortly. So that one may be the closing of a shot across the bow. I think we may have to come up with a way that we have to use that one. But we're open to ideas, ladies and gentlemen. We're not hard set in our ways. We just want to have fun with it, but we want everybody else to come on board and have fun with us too. So on that note, we've pretty much hit the end of our show. We always trying to hit the 40 to the 45 minute mark, and we've done well. It's 41 minutes. Keep joining us. We're going to actually start putting some extra clips together and let you see some fun things. Davey, I was just wondering, what do you think of the idea of maybe tomorrow, sometime, maybe we should do a fast clip on Juan Ponce de Leon so we can push it out there on April 2nd, which would be Wednesday.
Okay.
I think we should try to come up with something. We'll see what we can come up with. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we always appreciate you being here and watching the show. Black Sails, I want to get you back on the show. So let me know some times. I know one of those times we talked, you were considering moving down. Has the move been accomplished, or are you still in the planning stages? Let us know. So How do we sign off, Davey, and take us out of port?
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew, always. We can't do it without you, although we could. It's just not as much fun as having you here. So I think we should make sure we always thank you. And on that note, Davey, take us out.
With wit and charm they make it clear